back. Here we are again to another episode of Pitch Practice.
The show.
What's up, everyone? I'm Mark, the guy behind The Mental Marketer and the private Facebook group Funnel Building 101, helping you grow and monetize your brand using social media and funnels. And who is with us today?
The
Give me
same guy that's here every week. Same guy, same time, same channel. It's Brandon here with BKXX Enterprises, helping your local service business get found and get that digital plumbing set up to take full advantage of the funnels that are needed to grow your business.
the funnels that are needed. I like that. That is a good point. I'm just going and making sure that I'm going live on Facebook, going live inside of the group, and in live on Instagram, YouTube, uh, X now, and LinkedIn. And also, no, we're not live on TikTok though.
No, no TikToks. They're getting banned.
I, I
Um,
I see your stream on Facebook. You should
Good.
you should change that stream to public. I think you just have it set for friends, but I guess if that's how you want to get it set up.
No, hold on here.
And I'm gonna do this real quick so that I can be going live inside of the group. And we're just gonna go live, and Facebook just doesn't make it too that easy to actually stream live using an external software.
No,
So
they did a big API change and kind of nixed that. So call it a slap. That's what we're going to kind of talk about today. Are these slaps and snaps that just keep happening?
uh,
Beginning of second quarter has been a crap show, to say the least, when it comes to algorithm updates, API updates.
oh, it is
It's a mess.
it's constant. It's one thing constant is yep, and that is oh oh okay. I'm looking at yours. Okay. Wait a minute. That's not mine. Yeah. It is constant. If there's one thing that's always constant, it's going to be a little bit of change. And today we're going to dive into some change and just give our thoughts about a recent podcast that we both listened to. That's what today is about. Is a recent podcast that we both listened to, and this is one of our uh, one of the biggest online marketers out there to well, one of the biggest online marketers out there. All right, cool. I'm now live.
Mhm.
I'm now live inside of the Facebook group. Wow, that took that took a little bit of of what I want to say, uh technical savvy. Yeah, but it's happening. And if you're watching live, give us a hashtag live where you're watching from. Where you watching from, Brandon? You watching from the city where the northern lights are? How about that, right?
Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to see the lights. I forgot completely about it. I was lying there watching a show, and I
Uh-huh.
was like, "Oh, we got the lights." I surfing Facebook, and I saw all these pictures. There was like an app posted an hour ago, and I was like, "Oh, well, lights." I'll go outside and take a look, and I couldn't see anything. I tried with my phone camera to like enhance the sky. That didn't work. I guess just being in town, there's too much city light pollution to really see anything.
Uh-huh.
Best time to see it, I guess, was like around 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock.
Well,
And I looked at midnight, and there was nothing there.
from what I understand, there's still an opportunity for you to see this throughout this entire week.
I didn't hear that. Well, I'll
Yeah.
check again, but it's again not something that I'm interested in. The eclipse was much more interesting than the Northern Lights.
Okay. I think it's kind of fascinating because it's something that I'd always uh, thought about doing. Just knowing that you have to travel into that certain part of the world to be able to see those lights, and it's always that northern hemisphere, and for it to be available, for us here in the middle of the world. I thought that was pretty cool, but I didn't see it either. But I think it's interesting. And yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about this too, about the growth hacking strategies and some of the stuff that we really took away from Alex's uh, podcast. And just to give you a little bit of a preview of what we're talking about, this is it right here.
Yep, it is the game.
Yeah.
He's gotten over 700 episodes in there, so he's one of the top dogs in the podcast world. I mean, he's no Joe Rogan, but and I do apologize. Motorcycles in town. I love living in town.
uh, uh, uh,
He's no Joe Rogan, but he does put out some pretty good and interesting content when it comes to business and life in general, I guess.
uh,
Um, and today's episode actually was about 4 days ago when that one launched.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
he's on 711 now. So we listened to 709. So that's a few episodes ago.
yeah, it came out a couple days ago, but it was kind of one of those I don't know, a gut check type episode, in a sense where he really went over a topic that kind of made you question what you're doing, and he hit a point on there when it comes to being what is it
Well,
imposter syndrome.
yeah. Well, let's give the title of the podcast episode, and the title of the podcast episode is right there. Uh, Wait, oh no, yep. No, here it is. It's going to come across it right now. And this is what we're going to be talking about. It's the amount of preparation you need to be
Exceptional.
exceptional.
Yep. It's all
The
about preparation and being prepared.
the amount of preparation you need to be exceptional.
And
Uh,
the thing with it is imposter syndrome comes from not being prepared.
right.
When you feel like you're not good enough, and the reason why you're not good enough because you haven't prepared enough.
Mhm.
Um,
So let me ask you out there, when you just hear that title, what comes to mind? What comes to mind? The amount of preparation needed to be exceptional.
you
What,
asking me, or you
yeah,
asking?
I'm asking you. Well, if you want to put it down in the comments if you're listening, but I want, yeah, what comes to your mind, Brandon?
I mean, an ounce of preparation is worth a pound of anything that you do. Um, you know, growing up, as far as preparing, I once did the math. Uh, played football or whatever, and you're dragging you're dragging butt down to practice, carrying all your gear, and your summer two days, and it's hot, and you think to yourself, why am I doing all this? Why am I doing all this work, right? Because you only played for 60 minutes on Friday night for 10 weeks, so 600 minutes, right? So that's the total amount of time that you would get potentially on the field if you were a starter.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I did the math, and each practice was anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours long. You practice 4 days a week, only for 600 minutes, and the amount of prep time to, and this was just for like practice. This doesn't include what the coaches had to do off hours when they weren't on the field, kicking our butts and yelling at us for screwing up the play. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
and doing that math, it was like for 600 minutes, we probably practiced for like 18,000 minutes or something like that in comparison. And looking at it, I was like, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Just be prepared for 60 minutes on a Friday night. Over 18,000 minutes. It's probably even more than that.
And
But
would you say that those 18,000 minutes yielded exceptional play?
well, I mean, we were 10-0, that year, and made it to playoffs a couple rounds in. So it, I guess it worked out.
Mhm. Yeah, 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 yeah. When I think about the just that title, the amount of preparation, no, the amount of preparation needed to be exceptional. Couple of things come to mind. I think we a lot of times we think in terms of sports and uh how, I always think about well, I think of what is his name? John Wooden, the world championship coach that won so many titles over his years as being a coach of I think it was UCLA, and the philosophy that he had was you know, you prepare more in practice than you do in the actual game time. And you prepare as if you are in a game time situation. So your practices should be harder than the game. And if you're practicing hard enough enough times, then it makes the actual game easy because you've practiced. Practice has been way harder, and when you're in that actual situation, funny thing is that I think most people do it the opposite way.
Hmm.
Most people, and I think that was one reason why listening to this podcast was really you want to call it a gut check or an eye opener when you think about the amount of time it takes to be exceptional. And most people think that, I can just try 300 times. Or like, were we on film when you were talking about the number of, you said something about we won't even send out, 300 ads. Were we talking beforehand or did you say that just recently? I can't remember.
Um,
I think we weren't even on camera yet.
no, we were talking about something else um, with that. But yeah, when it comes to the amount of volume that needs to be done before the actual end event happens, it is astronomical, and sometimes can be depressing. It's like, well, what's it even matter? Like, it's not even going to make a difference. I'm going to do all this for what, for 5 minutes? But I mean, every little bit it helps. I've seen a couple videos. I don't want to call it off topic, but um, of these planetary gear sets, right?
Okay.
And the first gear spins really, really fast, really, really easy, right? The second gear doesn't spin as easy based on how it's set up, and the third gear spins even less, and the fourth gear spins even less than that. You can't even tell that it's moving. And I don't know. There might be like 1,000 gears in this whole gear set, to where it would take till the end of time for that last gear to make
A
one
rep.
rotation,
Yeah.
and the amount of torque needed is enough energy to lift the universe. Um, and it's literally unfathomable to think in that time scale when it comes just to that little planetary gear set. And you can go on YouTube and look it up, or it'll, since we're talking about it, you might come across it in your Reels algorithm now. But it's a very interesting concept. To think in that type of linear terms, just the amount of effort, energy, and work that goes into one part of the system to then affect of the rest of your world, your universe, and to make that dent, it takes a lot of work. Um,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
that podcast, it really spelled it out and put it in layman's term, and just like taking a hammer and hitting you right in the face with it. Um,
Yeah, yeah. One story that always comes to my mind is, and it came to my mind when I was listening to the podcast too. When in the podcast he was talking about uh, well, I think he told a story about going to a guy with a YouTube channel, had a really successful YouTube channel, and he asked the guy to send him his notes for like a 5-minute video, and,
Hmm.
and he sends him this 25 page uh page report, and he
Yeah.
says, this is what I review before making videos. It's so interesting because that's and not only is it complete opposite of what is taught out there, it's like the complete opposite of what people do out there.
Yeah.
They want to have a half a page of notes and put out a string of videos without any preparation whatsoever. And the wonder is, why don't you see any success after just this, um, you know, this, this effort that you put in? It's because you don't realize that the amount of effort is much more than a half a page and uh, a prompt into a AI bot.
Hmm. And you bring up AI. GPT just released their GPT 4-0 or whatever, Omni, which is
Yeah.
phenomenal, by the way.
Oh
And
man, I wanted to talk about that because I know
yeah,
Google had a meeting yesterday about it too. But go ahead.
yeah, Gemini is okay, but I think this Omni deal is gonna smash Gemini. Uh, there's absolutely nothing wrong with using the AI tool. I mean, it's a way to kind of get your idea across and then have an output come back at you that you can actually use. Because my creativity, I can say personally, my creativity, can I come up with something? Yes, but it's going to take me a very, very, very long time to sit, write, plan, erase, think, and things like that. That tool kind of takes all that thinking away. I don't know if that's a good thing, but if you have that idea in your mind and you can spell out exactly what you want to have it spit back at you, I mean, it's going to save so much time. Should you use AI word for word? No. I think it's best for writing out outlines for the things that you need and want to talk about and put your own word on it. But it would be a way to kind of structure and organize your random thoughts that you may have. And that'd be an easy way to prepare and a way to prepare a lot faster. Um, in his in Alex's deal, you talk about how long do you prepare for a meeting, right? Depending on the length of the meeting, an hour, etc. I mean, if you only got 5 or 10 minutes, you know, plug in what the meeting topic is going to be about, and have GPT give you a list of questions to ask during the meeting. That would be relevant to the topic. I mean, it's those little things that can really boost your um, uh, status with the client.
Yeah,
Just,
yeah.
just having that 5 minutes of prep time before, as he stated.
Yeah, 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 an ounce of preparation can yield, tremendous results. You can tell when someone is prepared, and the amount of preparation. Another story, Russell Brunson always tells the story about how, he was running ads and how, he felt they were being successful, but then they noticed that, I think he was selling .com Secrets book, and maybe he was selling 10 or 100 a day. And he, at the same time, it was Dean Graziosi who was selling about 1,000 books a day. And Russell was like, how, he says, how are they doing this? How is he doing this? And Dean allowed Russell to kind of shadow along with him.
Hmm.
And then when he saw what Dean was doing, he said to himself, "Oh my gosh, I'm not I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything." So what was Dean doing? He was making about 10 to 15 new videos a day. 10 to 15 new videos a day, whereas Russell was making about 1 to 2 a week, and Dean was making 5 to 15 per day. That gives you a little bit of insight into the amount of preparation or the amount of actually attempts that are made. Your example tell that example about the ads about we thought we were doing something just about sending out 300 ads.
Yeah, it's a Hormozi story. He was trying to promote his gym, and he's want to put flyers on cars or whatever. And he's walking around. He put out like 500, 600 flyers or whatever, and he didn't really get much traffic on it. And he talked to his buddy who's kind of doing the same thing. It's like they test. He was told they test with 2,000 to 3,000 flyers, which was about 10 times of what he was doing. And then for a personal story, working on a PPC campaign for for an e-commerce site. It's getting traffic. We ran one ad, tested it, and it's getting traffic like that. Now it's time to scale it up and run and start creating more ads around that core ad, just to get more swings, right? It's search is funny when it comes to ads, things like that, on what people are searching, when they're searching, how they're searching, and the keywords being used. So if you're not going wide and deep, you're gonna miss it. So it's all about the volume. The more that you have out there, the more that you'll be able to get back. And I think that's where, again, people are missing the pictures, because they're looking at it through, I want a telescope instead of a giant magnifying glass or giant lens.
Yeah, they're putting out 25 videos and then wondering what's wrong. Why aren't I getting any traffic? Why aren't I getting any clicks? 25. No, you have to put out 25 and then put out another 25.
Mm-hmm. And it's tough. And I mean, even for us here, I mean, we do this roughly about once a week, but what are we doing outside of that? I can tell you it's difficult for me with the general 9 to 5 that I have, that I got to focus on that and do the content, things like that for, for that position, and then try to do it for myself in the after hours, plus work on other client stuff. It's difficult to do it on your own.
Mhm.
Takes a lot of time, effort, and energy to do it.
Oh yeah. I've pumped out videos on my YouTube channel. We're getting close to the thousands, but it's still not 10,000. It's still not 15,000. It's 1,000. Even, and thinking about 1,000, that seems like a lot, right? Yeah.
It
But
does. Thousand does seem like a lot, but if you look at it from grand scheme of things, thousands could be 1% of what you actually need to do to actually get that first sale. I hear it all the time when it comes to cold email and cold DMs, which I kind of loathe, but it is a way for outreaches in $100 million leads. 100 a day is your minimum benchmark, which is a lot if you consider the time it takes you to potentially do the research, craft the message, and send it out. That 5 minutes of prep times 100 is 500 minutes. And what's 500 minutes? What's 500 minutes? 500 minutes.
with 60 minutes per hour, just do 500 divided by 60.
That's 8 hours in itself of just prep to send 100 messages. So it literally take you all day to send 100 messages. If that's all you did nonstop, it's actually 8.33. So 8 hours and 15 minutes to do 5 minutes worth of prep to send a custom DM to get to that 100.
And it's the exact reason why that there is a top 2%. because 98% of people won't do that work. 98% of people will put out 100 videos. Maybe they'll put out 200 videos, maybe even 300. But are you in the game? As Alex Hormozi says, that's one thing I do like listening to Alex Hormozi about, because he gives it to you pretty raw.
Mm-hmm.
In case you're wondering what we're talking about today, we are talking about Alex Hormozi's podcast called The Game, and we're discussing episode 709, where he talks about the amount of preparation needed to become exceptional. And I do want to throw a plug in there for my Mental Marketer Blueprint membership area, where we have an area where you can learn the secrets of the world's greatest marketers. Alex Hormozi is one of those that we've highlighted there with his trainings, his podcast, and his books, 100 Million Offers and 100 Million Leads. If you didn't know, you can get them free. The audio versions, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can get them free from his website, which is nice.
Acquisition.com, as well as some free courses.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was just
good.
going to say, very good courses too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Did you see that? Did you see that?
Yeah,
message
from my buddy Ronald. Yeah, good. Glad you
listen to it.
glad you listened to it and enjoyed it there. Yeah, he's Ronald got some good stuff going on. He's
Hey, Ronald.
he's an old home service guy, and he's building out his agency to help other home service businesses down in Texas. So he's been on the front lines. Now he's helping others grow their home service business, which is phenomenal. Keep up the good work, Ronald.
So Ronald thought that the episode was rough and very convicting. I'm curious to know exactly what part of that episode did you think was rough? And if you've listened to that episode, let's hear it down in the comments. I'll tell mine. And it was I don't know. Hormozi had a bunch of these little phrases, and I think he's good at remembering those and kind of, what do you call them, idioms, or just sayings about things. And I meant to write some down, but I didn't prepare, Brandon.
Shocking.
What do you mean shocking? I do normally prepare, and I'll have just a little bit of preparation beforehand, but I I did not. So but yeah, what was shocking and what shocking for me was just I think is when he talked about that YouTube video, and about the 20 pages of 20 pages of things that he reviews and goes over on that video, for a 15 exceptional video. Oh yeah, I think Ronald's biggest takeaway was the same as mine.
Mm-hmm.
That's the exact same thing that was my real big takeaway too. Yep, for a 15 exceptional video compared to what he was doing. And that was surprising to hear from, Alex Hormozi, because you see a lot of his videos that are put out there and they seem pretty well.
Well, yeah, I mean, he has the media team behind him to do it. And this is after the fact that, after he received that 22-page dissertation on a good video, right? So that's what kind of kicked him into gear and realized that he had to do that. So, I mean, I don't know exactly what his content schedule is like. I mean, I guess his morning routine is up at 4:30, working until about noon, and then, I wouldn't say pissing off the rest of the day, but that's when he's usually
hitting the roids a little bit,
or he's working out or hanging out or whatever he's doing, right? Going to school. So
School.
Yeah, going to school.
I got that. SKOOL.
But the part that caught my ear was talking about swimming, because I was a swimmer, and saying that the exceptional people got ahead because they swam more, right? They 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening. Thinking back on my swimming career, I didn't have that luxury, right? I didn't have the money to join the Y team to where they swam in the morning and they swam in the evening, right? So they're doing 2 days pretty much every day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, on the high school team, it was it was actually 3 days a week, for I think at most 2 hours, so 6 hours in the pool, a week to then swim a meet. And look, I mean, I wasn't a terrible swimmer, but I mean, I held my own. But I know I wasn't in the top tier because I just didn't have access to the training time, to be that exceptional swimmer, I guess. Yeah, so I mean, just think about those things again. The amount of time and effort you put into it is very disproportionate to what you get out, but the results that you want to get, it needs to be that way. I mean, you think about it as like baking a cake, right? You spend all that time gathering the ingredients, prepping them, prepping the oven, right? You can't stick a cake in a cold oven; it's not going to bake right. So you get everything prepped. It takes
Yeah.
you an hour and
Yeah.
a half to bake a cake, and you eat it in what, 10 minutes?
Mm-hmm. And I
So
think, but there is a problem. There is a problem with the amount of work needed to be exceptional. The
what's the problem?
the problem is people don't want to do that work,
No.
and they don't want to hear that's what needs to be done. You tell someone, Myron Golden always says that the last thing you want to talk about is the amount of work needed to be successful.
That's
Right?
true. Yeah, that's true. I mean, even on my end, I'll admit, there are days where I just don't feel like doing anything, and there are days where I feel like it and then don't do anything. But the next day, I always feel like crap about it because it's like, what could I have done, better to move that needle, right? But
Yeah.
if you can have less of those days and more of the days where you actually do something and make that dent in the universe, then you definitely will be better off.
Yeah, because the moment you talk about the amount of work needed, that's when people hit the door. Skirt. Because what everyone preaches and teaches is simple, easy, push button, uh, no work. The words passive.
Oh, I hate the word passive income because there is absolutely no such thing as passive income. I mean, it's passive income is like quote unquote farming, right? How much work is done up front to then get the yield on the back end? It's a lot of work up front to plant your field and sow and cultivate and kill the weeds and, then harvest before you get your passive income. No such thing.
Oh yeah, but that's what sells. That is what sells. Uh, just think about all of the claims that people make about being able to sit back on the beach while your bank account is just growing. Well, there are some cases where your money can work for you. I think that's really the goal, where your money is working for you, but not completely hands off, even if it's let's say a real estate transaction. Are you reading that comment?
Hmm.
All right, yeah, real estate, and you've got to manage that property. It's not completely hands off. You've got to manage the money. If it's, say, an investment, and you're doing, something like stocks or bonds, that's even a lot of work, because
Hmm.
yeah, that's a lot of work, and that's a lot of research, knowing exactly what to do with that money so you won't lose it. So, do you want to read that comment, Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, Buddy Ronald just mentioned that he pastored a church, and 25 hours a week he put in just to the sermon alone, outside of whatever other duties that he has to then only speak for an hour at the most, maybe hour and a half at the most on Sundays. So, depending on what you want to do, the ratio of work to the prep and work to, final outcome, again, is very, very disproportionate.
Hmm. Interesting. When I think interesting point he made about him spending 25 hours, I think it can be a little bit of intimidating to other people. And when you come in and you're completely prepared and everyone else is looking at you saying, whoa, you was, well, some people might even say, whoa, show off, show off. I didn't prepare as much as you did, but yet and still people want the same results.
Mm-hmm.
How do you expect to get the same results? How do you expect to get the same results that I'm getting when I'm putting in 10 times the amount of work that you're putting in? So it can be input and output, and you get out what you put into it. And Ronald says that I'm exactly right. I've experienced that, Ronald. I know. They get jealous. They get jealous. And you think to them, you know what? You don't have to be jealous. You can experience the same, you can have a great presentation. You just need to be able to spend that time and be aware of the amount of time to put in to be exceptional, right?
Yeah. It's all about the time and work that you put in. I don't know how else to really say it. If you're not where you want to be, go back and look at what you did to get to where you're at right now. And if you haven't done anything, well, that's why you're at where you're at right now. That's it.
Yes, kicking back. I am a growth hacker.
Did you make that
That
shirt yourself?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I printed it from Teespring, I think. Yeah,
Teespring. Okay.
yeah. You know Teespring?
Yeah, that's where I went to do my pandemic masks. I think they shut my account down since I haven't been on there in a while.
Your pandemic masks.
Yep.
What did you do with pandemic masks?
I had some custom cloth masks made up of like funny faces and shapes, and there was one of Donald Trump saying China.
The amount of hours needed.
Yeah. I don't think I sold a single one. So
Yeah,
it was fun.
you should have put it in a funnel.
Yeah, I was 1.0 at that time, and I didn't know how to do all that kind of mess. So yeah, I didn't do it.
Yes. Yeah. So awesome. So yeah, today's message, I thought it was a really good episode. Do you listen to his podcast on a regular basis? Let me share my screen real quick. I got something to share.
Well, we got a question from Ronald. How much time do you put in before reaching out to potential client for a cold call or before a discovery sales call?
Wait, here we go.
Me personally, it's about 24 hours. I run a report on them that takes about 10 or so hours to get all the data anyway. But during that time, I'm looking at their socials. I'm checking out their website, looking at the code on the site to see what kind of site it is. I put in their deal into my SEO checker just to see if it's built right. And then I go to Google's ad library to see if they're running any ads. And if they're not, then that just has my my ammo all ready to go. Talk about the things that they would need. Have you ever been on Google's ad library, their ads transparency site?
Yeah, yeah, that's Google/YouTube's ad library. That's the one I demoed a few weeks back when we were
No, you
looking
just
at
did the YouTube
property.
one. You just did the YouTube one, but there's a PPC one
But that
for
I
display and search.
well that no, that is the same. That's let me show you here real quick because it includes all ads from every platform. And then I'm gonna get back to that question from Ronald. I'm gonna get back. Let me show you here real quick. You see this? Can you see the screen here real quick? Hold on, let me put this on here. This is it, right? I was looking at yeah, I was looking at the see Google Ads Transparency Center, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is for all Google ads, whether they're on YouTube and also some uh, banner ads over here, some videos, and you can, basically you just, enter in. Let's see here. Let's see. Well, let's see if we can find you. Do you see any ads from Alex Hormozi?
You just got to put in acquisition.com.
Okay, that's right. That's right. Okay, let's see here. Nothing showing up there. Maybe I just need to do a quick reset. Let me check. Okay, acquisition. Oh, wow. Just so many different ones there. Acquisition.com. That doesn't look like Alex's ads. You have anybody you want to look up?
No, I mean, I don't know who would be running ads that I'd want to
Okay.
look
Is
up.
this the ad center that you were speaking about?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember I demoed that. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. All right, all right. There we go. There we go. Yes. Yeah. How much um how much research before reaching out to a potential client? So what I have is I have an input questionnaire, and the input questionnaire runs the potential clients through a series of questions, and they're designed to uh, get them thinking about what working with me would look like. And it also gets them to spell out, or I'm sorry, not really spell out, but express their pain points and their concerns and what goals they're really trying to accomplish. And I'll take this form, and it's about 10 to 15 questions. And a trick that I learned from, I think I learned it from Eileen Wilder, and her funnel is to give them a little bit of homework to do before your discovery call. And it gets them interested and actively participating in the call. When you get on that call, they're telling you how to sell them. They tell you how to sell them, and you can cater your presentation specifically for them. How much time? I would say anywhere from, I think I the last intake form I did 3.5 hours, 3 to 3.5 hours, doing the research, looking at their assets, doing an audit on what they currently have, looking at what products they offer, and also looking at who is their target customer and what are their pain points, and even offering some of my research and in addition to what they have there as well. So 2.5 to 3 hours, I would say. And there's a trick, because you think that I don't want to spend 2 to 3 hours on a client that I'm not going to make any money from, or that they're not going to uh, you're going to feel, you want to make sure that you're using your time well. And that's when there is a strategy that you use, and that is to charge them for filling out this questionnaire, and let them know that at the end of our call, you're going to have a complete plan that you can use, whether you choose to work with me or not. And if you do choose to work with me, then this amount that you've paid for uh, this fast start package can be applied towards working with me. And there's a very specific way to do that. And I've learned this strategy from the funnel building certification. I had a funnel builder working for me, so I've got the complete uh, the complete call, the discovery call. So yeah, and it's worked well. That
Nice.
that answers your question, Ronald.
He says, "Oh, okay, got it. He's not doing enough." Well, nobody's ever doing enough, right?
Yeah,
Until you actually speak with somebody that's a chapter or two ahead of you and what you're doing. No, you're not doing enough. Both Mark and I, we know we're not doing enough in certain areas of each of our businesses, and every day's a way to get better and do a little bit more. I mean, each one of these videos is one more step forward to doing that. Pretty soon we'll have the chance to go live every day together if we really wanted to do that. We just need to figure out the topics at a time that we talk about daily instead of weekly.
yes, you'll get tired of seeing us. Not just not just 10 videos, but hundreds of videos, thousands of videos. Yeah. Cool. Cool. All right.
So I mean that's it for the episode. Any news on your end?
No, my gosh, yeah. And there's always news on this end. I've my surrounding is starting to maybe come down a little bit, but still not. It's just, when one thing ends, another one starts. I'm interested in Russell. Russell's got a new money course available inside of the Marketing Secrets. There's a bunch of changes that have gone on in ClickFunnels 2.0. I've got some funnels that need to be updated, that I'm working with some of my clients, and more videos that need to be made. If you are if you're in the need, if you're listening, you're in need of a just a roadmap, you can just follow the links down in the description to become a mental marketer insider. And that's where you can stay updated mostly with all of the goings on in the mental marketer world.
Yeah. So those will be under Mark's video. On myself,
Mhm.
latest and craziest thing that I've done is I've extended out my partnerships. Everybody knows, I'm partnered with ClickFunnels. That's number one partnership that I have there. But for those that aren't ready for ClickFunnels or have other systems set up that they're just too ingrained in, but are just missing that key component of the follow-up funnel, I've recently partnered with Constant Contact. Out of all the email marketing platforms out there, you have MailChimp, GetResponse, Aweber, Sendinblue. All of them. I think Constant Contact has the best usability or ease of use and support that's out there. So decided to partner up with them to help SMBs, small business owners, get their follow-up funnels in order through Constant Contact, and help them out with that. And to kick this whole relationship off, and to help out as many people as possible, I got a 30% off for the first 3 months. All the information is in the description there. If you sign up through that link, use that code there and get 30% off, and then I will help you set everything up properly so that you hit the inbox and not go to the promo or spam folder.
And that is important. That is important. If you're going to be sending your message out, you want to make sure that as many people as possible get to see it. Awesome. So that is the message today, is when you think you've done enough, keep going.
That's it. Just do one more. Like Ed Milet, the power of one more, right?
Yeah.
Hey, he's coming to Cincinnati in August. You should come up. I think I'm going to buy a ticket for it.
And what month?
In August, I believe. I'm seeing ads for it. It's a motivational deal that he's doing. He's going to be there. Who else is going to be there? I don't know. He's the main one. He's the only one that stood out. Anyway, so yeah, Cincinnati, August, Ed Milet, look him up. Like it's like $250 for the premier ticket, and you get lunch and a photograph with him and all that other kind of stuff. So
wow, $250, that's it?
it.
Wow. Okay. Definitely have to check that out. Do one more. It's like when you feel like that you've done it enough times, just do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Experts practice more than they perform. Amateurs perform more than they practice. That's the difference. I remember that. Cool. Well, thanks for tuning in this episode of Pitch Practice the Show. Find all the links to everything we've discussed down in the comments. And that's it.
That's it. Have a good night.
Have a good night.